Why you always got to look at me like that?
Well, I can't very much look at you with my feet. All right.
Well,
I haven't transcended that barrier yet.
I would like to know how people stay still.
How people stay still?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Because I just
Poverty? Is it poverty? Is that the answer?
No.
You ever see that?
No.
You ever see that tweet that was like, I wonder why people don't just go travel the world and see things, and it's such a great big world out there. And it was like a picture of them on some beach, and the top comment was like, because most of us are struggling to buy bread.
It's like, how do you tell that someone is privileged without them telling you, like, straight up, like, I'm rich and I can do things? It's like little things like that where they have no concept of the world outside of their own. They're like, why doesn't everybody do that?
I think we talked about it before, but the elementary school kids from like that private elementary school who they were like giving free meals to, and one of the kids was like crying because he couldn't understand the tastes of all the other kids, like proclivities and whatnot, or it was like airplanes, because they were like, oh man, this guy, he's never flown in first class before, he must be poor. And then he just come to find out that he's only flown on his family's private jet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to have fuck you money, That's what they call it.
Like money from fucking people? Or?
No, like where you have so much money, it doesn't matter what you do or buy. Like I would love to be so rich, I could just go to a store like Neiman Marcus or like a designer store and just buy whatever I want and not have to check my bank account, not have to look at the price tag. Like that sounds pretty cool.
I think that's not fuck you money. I think that's just like money where that's what people used to be able to do in like the 70s when they were middle class, is go to the store and be like, oh cool, bread, eggs, milk, cheese, I'll buy it, and not have to go, man, I wonder which one I won't get this week because my paycheck was too low.
Yeah,
I think that's very different.
That's valid.
FU money. FU money is like you'll go somewhere or do something that no one else could ever dream of doing, and you don't care about it. You're like, fuck you, I can do it.
I don't think I'd like to be uber rich. The only reason why I would be like what we just said, getting to travel. Like I want to go to one of those little private hut things on the water, like in the Maldives, so fucking bad. But I've looked them up, and just one night is so expensive. I'm like, it's like half a car payment.
Half a car payment? What is
like half of a full car payment, like 10 grand a night just for the little hut. That doesn't include all the amenities and food and everything else like that you need to pay for. Like, I'm sure there's cheaper ones and more expensive ones, but that is luxury to me.
Sleeping above water. I think a lot
being
of
able to look at the fish in the floor.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think we should go to a country that's, a little poorer, and you'd be like, wow, they get to sleep near fish, and they're like, yeah, we like our food source close because there's no Walmart, they can't. I
don't know, are poorer countries happier, like people in poorer countries?
I think there's a threshold. Like you can only become, I feel like you can only become so poor to the point where if it's like a struggle, then it's a little too much.
Actually, all the happiest countries in the world are like the ones that make a lot of money.
Well, yeah, that's because you can afford things. And
guess who's not on the list?
I saw that too. That was like the phrase "money can't buy happiness" was not meant for like money doesn't give you happiness. It was meant for like, yes, you shouldn't be so obsessed with things that material things aren't, this and that. You're like, yeah, it's only that phrase really only applies to people who are the uber rich people.
We're not even in the top 20 in the United States.
No, I mean, we used to be.
What do you think the happiest country in the world was as of this year?
It's got to be like Sweden, maybe Norway. What is it?
Sweden is number 4, and Norway is number 7.
Okay. Finland.
It's Finland.
Oh my gosh, I'm good at this. Third guess.
I cannot hear the word Finland without thinking about Monty Python's Spamalot the musical, because it opens with the song Finland, Finland, Finland. That's the country for me. And now I know why. The Finnish people are just very happy. Guess where America is?
Probably like 42, maybe 36.
Not as bad. 23. What I find interesting is Lithuania is 19 What's in Lithuania?
In Lithuania? I have no idea.
Like, I've heard of it, of course, but
I've
like,
heard
I don't
of
know
it.
what's there.
Do they have people?
Whoa, Lithuania's beautiful. Holy shit. Yeah, oh my god. The Hill of Crosses, castle towers, beautiful
I think I'm
lakeside,
thinking of somewhere else.
modern cities. Oh my god, we should go to Lithuania.
Oh, I was not thinking of that was where Lithuania was for some reason. For some reason, I mean, it's right next to Finland, Norway, Sweden, like all the Nordic countries right there. That makes sense.
It's famous for its landscapes, plains, abundant forests, lakes, and swamps. Okay, I'm gonna add that to our bucket list. We should go to Lithuania.
Lithuania. We got to look through that 1,000 things to do list and like pick some good ones out of there.
Yeah, there's so much in this world to do. I don't know how we're ever gonna do all of it.
Oh, it's gonna be slow, because of the whole debt thing. But
I'm paying it off. I'm sorry.
we're working on it.
I'm doing better.
Always go to Chad.
Chad, what? Oh, like the country?
No, Chadwick, my old friend from college. Let's go to him. He has many things to say.
Rip Chadwick Boseman.
Anyway.
Is this the part where I do the intro?
No, that was several minutes ago.
Oh my gosh. No, it's now.
Do you know what episode we're on?
89?
Wow, that is surprisingly not right.
What is it?
It's 90. This is episode 90.
Fuck. Why am I always like one off?
You suck. I don't know. That's
Well, hello and welcome back to episode 90.
Welcome back. Like there was another episode 90 that they missed.
Welcome to episode
Welcome back.
90 of
find the
Mindless
hidden episode.
Prattle. I'm Ripley. That one over there is Jordan, and we're your hosts. We're going to talk about stuff and things, and we hope you like our new sound system. It sounds really good to me. I'm like, tell us what you think. I like feedback. I crave your validation. But
Still working on the video portion, but
yeah,
we got the audio
one thing at a
upgraded,
time.
So
like,
there's that.
Well,
Speaking of traveling, did you see? You know how you're at the airport a lot, and
No.
when you're there, you've been to improv. It's yes and shut up. And
I don't go to the airport a lot. Yes, and
I need a new partner here.
You can't get rid of me.
Anyway, you know how you're standing in line and you get called up and they're like, we're now boarding like group 2, and you're like in group 3 or 4, and you're like, ugh, I just want to go sit on the plane so I can sit there for 4 hours early. Which I never understood why people were like arguing to get on the plane early and like fighting about it. And I'm like, we're going the same place. The plane ride's the same length.
Yeah, you know what?
Like,
that was something I found really interesting about doing stuff with your family is like when we take trips, like your dad's family is just like, no, we'll wait until everybody else gets on the plane. I'm like,
yeah.
It
Yeah, we'll just wait.
gives me anxiety.
Especially if there's a sign. Now, the only reason that I see to get on early is if like you and I or multiple people are traveling together and you want to sit together and there's no assigned seats. Then I could see getting on early to get seats together. That makes sense to me. But when you're all in the same group and you have assigned seats, because a majority of airlines have assigned seats now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have those assigned seats, and even if you don't, if you're traveling by yourself and you're in a group, I just don't see the need to get on the plane early, because the seats outside of the airplane are more comfortable. So if you want to sit down out there.
Tell me
on
why
the
my
airplane.
brain was like, the seats outside the airplane, you can sit outside the airplane.
Yeah, right.
And
on
then
the
I was
wings.
like, oh wait, you mean like when you're waiting?
They just bolt you down and give you a little air mask. Yes, dear.
That'd be interesting, right?
It would be deadly. In the airport would be a good one. You ever see that story of the guy, the pilot who got sucked out of the cockpit?
What?
Yeah. The hang on, I'll pull up a picture of it. But the
Great, more work for me on social media.
The pilot got sucked out of the cockpit. Yeah, not sucked off in the cockpit.
Yum.
Please don't. Here it is. It was in 1990. This is the picture of him as they were landing. Let me see if I can pull it up full screen. But yeah, so apparently while he was flying, the front window of the cockpit like tore off, and he got sucked out of the cockpit, and the people inside grabbed his legs and just held onto him so that he wouldn't fly off while they landed the plane. Take a look. This was him outside the cockpit, just way back. I don't believe that he survived, but they held on to him for an astonishingly long amount of time. Like, let me pull
Would
up
you
the
just like
actual.
instantly pass out? Like, what's the atmosphere like up there?
Yes. Oh no, actually, despite the extreme situation, he survived the incident. So
Maybe he
it was
didn't want
that was
to.
in 1990. Crew members, particularly the flight attendant, managed to grab onto his legs and hold him in place until the plane could descend to a safer altitude.
Hmm.
That's what happened. Anyway,
Good for
back to
him.
the lines. So you're in these lines, and you're like, I'm in a hurry to get on the plane. So you jump ahead, and you're like, I'm in Group 2 now. Ha 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 ha. Secret. Well, American Airlines is testing a new technology to catch early flight boarders, people who are in zone 4 or Group 4, and they jump in with Group 2. Now, based off of that headline, what do you think the technology is? Like, how would you implement that technology?
I don't know. I feel like the easiest way would just be like when you scan their boarding pass, it pops up saying like group number or whatever. And the person could be like, sorry, you got to go the fuck over there. You're not allowed in yet.
Wouldn't you think that'd be the easiest thing? American Airlines testing this new tech. This is what they're doing. They're currently doing it at the Albuquerque International Sunport. So I read Sunsport for some reason. Sunsport.
We are not
Sunport
sponsored.
and Tuscan International Airport. Tucson. It's not Tuscan. And gee, I'm reading all wrong today. It's crazy. So they've tested it there. They've had happy results and are pleased with them so far. The new technology, all it is when you scan your boarding pass, you're mostly correct, by the way, is when you scan your boarding pass and it makes that sound, it's just going to make a different sound, and it's up to the flight or the gate attendant to notice the differences in the sound.
That's so stupid.
I don't know why it couldn't just pop up with like a red X and say, don't come on yet.
When they scan, they literally have like a monitor right there and everything.
Right.
So it could just pop up saying like not valid group or whatever, you know?
That's why I was so confused when they were like, yes, we will do it this way. I'm like, that's okay. But yeah, I'm like, there's so many easier ways to do it, especially when you are looking at the monitor and you're trying to train people to recognize the sound difference. Why not just have a number pop
Hard
up?
of hearing flight attendants are like, fuck.
I don't know. But I thought that was so funny. I'm like, the easiest way, definitely what I thought was just have the number pop up.
Yeah, that would be too simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just make their job too easy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the past few years a lot of like thought to be expired? It's not expired.
A lot of thought.
A lot of thought to be extinct animals have suddenly like started reappearing again.
A lot of extinct animals?
Like thought to be extinct. So like animals they haven't seen in like 20, 30 years just showing up again out of the blue.
Well, I thought that they're considered extinct after 10 years.
Yeah. So I found this article and this is like really recent news. There is
really recent.
Like literally 2 hours ago, they published the article about this.
Okay.
So it says the Mekong ghost megafish has resurfaced after an extinction scare. It's a giant salmon carp that hasn't been seen in over 20 years. It lives in Southeast Asia's Mekong River, and it hasn't been seen since 2005. So scientists have now confirmed the discovery of, I like the way they phrase this. They say 3 individuals. Like these fish are 3 individuals.
3 individual fish.
Like fish citizenship for the win. But they found 3 of them over the past few years, and it says it reignites the hope for the giant salmon carp's survival. And I think that's so cool. But also, if I were an endangered species, I'd be like, fuck that. I'm not going back near the humans again. I'm going to like hide in my little special habitat or in that ocean under the ocean they found. Like, fuck these humans.
Do you know what the last member of a species is called?
Lonely?
No, that's what it is. What it's called.
No, I don't.
It's called an endling. ENDLING.
That's so sad. sad.
It's called an endling. There isn't actually an endling on display at I believe it's the British Museum, and it's for carrier pigeons. Carrier pigeons are extinct now. The last carrier pigeon, I believe, was killed out right after World War One in like 1920. I want to say 1919, 1920, somewhere in there. And it was these birds. The carrier pigeons once made up a quarter of all pigeons, and now they're extinct because during World War One, so many carrier pigeons were used that they were like, "Now we got to get rid of these things. They're carrying too many secret messages and things." So they found the last one, what they believed to be the last one, and it died out, and it's now on display in a museum. It's one of the last like endlings that they like have as a record.
That sounds like a Minecraft thing or like a fantasy novel thing, like endling. That's so sad.
To be the last of a species.
But also, pigeons in general make me really sad because people call them like rats with wings and all this shit like that. And it's like,
I think
we literally abandoned them.
I think rats with wings is a fine term if you're talking about disease. If you're talking about like what they eat and their behavior, other things like that, no.
But it's also like pigeons, we completely domesticated them, made them rely on humans for survival. Like they used to be popular pets or, like they were a technology at one point. But now they're all just abandoned. And then that's why there's so many of them all over the place and why they bother humans so much because they literally don't know how to fight for themselves. Like they got no clue how to take care of themselves.
The descendants should know better. All right, evolution. Get over it. But
it just makes me sad to think about it.
Get over your abandonment. All right, that's what needs to happen. The abandonment, sad. The fact that they're still around, good job. You thrived. The fact that you're still bothering us, get over it.
I love birds.
I love birds.
And animals in general.
I saw a video this week of actually it was of a podcast. I didn't get the name of it, but it was two people asking, and one of them was like, which species do you think would be or which animal do you think would be the easiest to win against, like in a fight? And he just responds, he goes, "Oh, fish, just like most fish." And the first guy's like, "No, you got to pick an animal." And they got in this huge argument as to whether a fish was an animal or not. And
yes, it is.
It culminated with one of them going, "You can't go to the zoo and see a fish. It's just not a thing." And he goes, the guy who's arguing for it goes, "You're right. You can't go to the zoo and see a fish. You know why? Because they have their own special zoo called an aquarium."
Well, also, most zoos do have like a little section for like fish or
sea creatures
things. Or, like they'll have like a little dark room for snakes and spiders. Like they usually have that for fish as well.
Right. And I think it was funny because the guy who was arguing against it was like, no, you're talking about like a shark. A shark's an animal. And they're like, right, it's a fish.
Here's the thing. Every living creature is an animal. Humans are animals. Fish are animals. They're different types of animals, like amphibians or fish, or like, that's crazy.
The definition for anyone who's wondering, you're not, but you're going to get it anyway. An animal is a living organism that feeds on organic matter, typically having specialized sense organs and nervous system, and able to respond rapidly to stimuli. So that's what they describe.
I respond rapidly to stimuli too.
Yeah, but that's the autism. But I also saw recently that NASA discovered life on Mars. Now, the article title was "Compelling Evidence of Life on Mars." I clicked on it. That is not entirely untrue, but I feel like I got baited into this article.
Well, yeah, that's clickbait.
Now, it's mostly true. Mm-hmm. However, what they left out is that NASA discovered the presence of water, organic compounds, and a chemical energy source on a rock located in the Jezero crater on Mars. But you're like, life, yes. No, it's evidence that
like
life
bacteria
used to be there. It's everything there is dead. It's it's what it is, right? So now they're like, well, we've discovered evidence that there used to be life on Mars. But my favorite part of this whole article, by the way, is what the name of the technology is that discovered it.
Yes.
Now, scientists, being the nerdy people that they are, I love scientists naming of things, especially like modern scientists naming things. Old scientists were just like Latin, and they got really hard for it. This new stuff, right? So It's part of the Perseverance mission set, right? But the first uh, technology, I guess, that they use, or like instrument that they use, is called the SHERLOC instrument. All right, there's two. They use the SHERLOC instrument and the Pixel instrument, which is just amazing to me. Now, what do you think SHERLOC stands for? Because
Is it an acronym?
it is. So is Pixel. We'll get there. Now, I feel like they just kind of made some things up to make it say SHERLOC. I feel like that's what their goal was, not that they were like, oh, it uses this, and this technology, combine it to come create something. I feel like they were like, we're going to name it SHERLOC.
Which, okay, when people do things like that, why can't you just name it that? Like, why does it have to be an acronym that stands for technology? Why can't you just be like, oh, it's the SHERLOC system. It uses this technology to do it.
It's because it's easier to memorize the systems and what they do. It's usually how it's like described. So like LiDAR is, the light emitting detection range, razors, like radar. All of those are acronyms for what physical phenomena they're using to implement that technology. Now, SHERLOC, on the other hand, I feel like they just made it up so that they could call it SHERLOC. It's scanning habitable environments with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals. SHERLOC.
Okay.
Yep.
Nerds.
And then Pixel is planetary instrument for X-ray lithochemistry. Now, X-ray lithochemistry is the scientific thing that's happening. And then they just went, well, we have XL. What if we name it planetary instrument and call it Pixel? I love scientist names for things.
Science is pretty cool. I have like a lot of science things that I wanted to talk about this week. And one of the things I saw, again, very recent, Google has unveiled its invisible watermark for AI generated text. So, Google has Gemini now, but it's pretty much impossible to tell if something's AI generated unless somebody's stupid and like copy paste. And it's like, as I am an AI, I do not know. You could suspect it, but at the same time, that's also like kind of disrespectful to people's intelligence. Like a lot of professors would say somebody's using AI just because they used like a big word, for example.
Oh yeah, I saw an article the other day that was a student got in trouble for an AI detector, said it was like 86% AI, and the student defended himself by taking the Constitution and putting it through that same software, and it said it was 79% AI. They were like, how is this a credible source to take off letter grades from students?
Yeah, no. And I think you could just ask them to be like, okay, how did you come up with this? Like a lot of students save, their work in like Google Drive or on Word. You can go back and see the edit history. But this, I think, would help a lot.
Elaborate, be like, explain your points to me in person.
Yeah. And so actually it's a computer scientist at the University of Texas in Austin talked about this. He worked on watermarks at OpenAI, but it's a watermark that invisibly labels text and you can deploy it to millions of users. But the cool thing about it is someone was saying it's really hard to apply a watermark to text, like much harder than images, because word choice is the only variable that can be altered. So they alter which words the model selects in a secret but formulaic way that can be detected with a cryptographic key. So basically, crypto and AI coming together to create this technology so that we can know when something is AI. And it's been, what's it called? It's open source. So people can use it for their own models, not just Google. And I thought that was really cool. Like, this is a problem that obviously needs solving. Like, I think AI can be useful in a lot of ways. We've talked about it on the podcast before. Like, I use it like a search engine. It'll help me find articles and stuff for class, which my university says that we can use AI for research actually, because it's so hard to like detect. But, obviously there's people who are just copy and pasting what their AI says, which is
right. And then not understanding or remembering or.
Yeah. Like that's plagiarism for sure.
About it.
But I thought that was really cool because that is a big issue right now. And I just was like, wow.
I didn't read the article, but I'll have to do more research on it and get back to you. But I saw one that was Biden signed a bill about AI and like foreign adversaries.
Are our foreign adversaries using AI?
No. I think it was like let me see it. Blah, 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 blah. Shaping the bait. No. Let me try and find what I can. Not foreign aid. Foreign AI.
I need foreign aid.
President Biden signs law to ban TikTok nationwide. Yeah, we'll see.
When is that from?
April of this year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sure. Buddy.
You know what? I think Temu needs to be banned before TikTok.
Temu, yeah.
Temu is a scourge on this earth.
Everybody I've talked to that says they've used Temu says that every time they've used it, their data was stolen.
Yep.
And first, it says Temu is bad. Second, it says you never learned about the fool me once riddle. You just didn't understand what it meant.
Well, right? And also the reason Temu is so pervasive is in the beginning, I don't know if they still do it, but they would give you a link that you could send out to your friends. And if they signed up with your link, you could get money to get free products, which they're already really cheap. I had friends send me that and I was like, no, like I'm not. I like TikTok. I will admit, like it's got its issues, whatever. I like it. But Temu, I'm like, I will never get that shit ever.
I mean, like, and why would you? Like,
and also, like, I just feel like so much of it is trash, you know? Like, it's just shit that's going to go in a landfill.
Just go to wish.com. You'd be all right.
No, or like, what's the thing that we used to use? Was it Wish?
The really cheap one? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's plenty of websites out there that, like, cut out the drop shipping people. So just do that, you know? Did you find what you were looking for?
No, but I did see the article saying that those 8 astronauts that were stranded in space are being brought back down today.
Nice. I hope it goes well.
Oh, sorry. Tomorrow morning, Friday morning.
Oh.
Well, last week for everybody listening.
Yes, when you're listening. Okay. We talk about video games a lot. I have a few different video game things to talk about. Love video games. But I didn't know that Netflix had a AAA video game studio. But
which one? What studio?
Listen, hold up. First of all, they hired a lot of big talent. So they hired the Overwatch executive producer, Chaco Sonny. They hired Halo creative lead Joseph Staten, the Coalition's Jerry Edsall, Blizzard and Bungie's Gavin Irby, Sony's Santa Monica art director Rafael Grassetti, and so many more big names. They just shut down after making 0 games. They made 0 video games.
Okay, I was like, I've never heard of this studio. I feel like I would have known about it.
So they spent all this. You know what? This is why Netflix won't let your favorite TV shows that are awesome, like, build an audience, because they spend stupid money on shit like this. And it's like, nobody wanted this, Netflix. We just want our movies.
Yeah. Well,
but I thought it was funny. They didn't make a single video game.
I think that one of the issues too is like, you know how it's more expensive to get a new customer than it is to maintain customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the other way around. I don't know. But the thing is, like TV shows, you get a season, it's really good. You get 2 seasons, it'll be pretty good. But the longer shows run on, the more like fandom dies off and like it goes down depending on the show.
With
like,
Netflix, I think it's the opposite problem.
Statistically, the more seasons of a show it has, the less people will watch the later seasons, unless they're just really depressed and want to watch Grey's Anatomy season 18. That's different though. So what I think their model of looking at it is we have all these new exciting shows, watch them. And then you watch the new show and it's got 1 season. And then they go, yeah, we're looking at season 2. And you watch 6 other new shows. And then 5 of those get canceled and 1 or 2 of them get second seasons. And then you come back to Netflix because those ones got second seasons.
I think it's just like, I saw somebody talking about this online. I don't remember where, but they don't give TV shows time to breathe or build an audience. Like, they drop a whole season of a show. If it doesn't hit millions of viewers on day 1, it's pretty much canceled. They're like, oh, we're not returning on our investment. But that's not how you build an audience to shows. Like, it has to be out for a little bit. It has to get reviews for more people to watch it. Like, and we used to have that when shows were coming out on TV and like normal.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things are uber popular right away. Like, The Last of Us show was super popular, but that's because it had a pre-existing audience. Same thing with the Fallout TV show. But Netflix just,
Witcher,
but Netflix just like will drop shit, spend so much money on it, and then be like, oh, 60,000 people didn't watch it, or 60 million people didn't watch it. You know, like dumb shit.
And they cancel it. Unrealistic like benchmarks, I feel like.
But then they keep renewing seasons of shows nobody gives a shit about. But they'll get rid of the shows. Everybody's like, I want another season of this. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But I canceled Netflix for a reason. I'll get it back in like 2 or 3 years when they finally release another season of the shows I like. But that's also the biggest problem with Netflix is that they don't put seasons out consistently. Like Bridgerton is like every 2 to 4 years now. Like half these actors are going to age out of the population they're doing, and they're already pretty old for like the ages that they're playing. And it just takes them forever to produce content now. And then when they do, they drop like 6 episodes and that's the entire season. I miss when seasons were like 15 to 20 episodes, man. Like actual character development and stuff. Fuck Netflix. Unless you're listening to this, then sponsor us.
I don't think that's how that works. But we'll go with
It's like, if we make money, oh my God, I love Netflix. You should watch Netflix all the time. Actually, I really like Hulu.
I'm trying to find why they shut down Team Blue, but I can't find any reasons. It's just articles that say they shut it down. But I guess it is from like a day ago.
It's been shut down, yes.
Oh yeah, here's IGN who interviewed some executives at Netflix. Netflix would not say why they could close the studio. Awesome. That's cool. Thanks, IGN.
They said, because we just decided we didn't want to do that anymore.
Overwatch, blah, 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 blah. Yep. All the people were excited to work on it, and then they were like, nah, we're out of here. Okay.
Do you have you ever played Roblox?
Yes, not like in depth or extensively, and not for a while, but yeah, I've played before.
Yeah, so one of our stream teammates, Joe, he used to stream a lot of Roblox, so I played a few times with him. Oh, I bopped the microphone. Sorry.
Yeah, it jumped out of nowhere. I saw it.
But so I played it a few times, but I don't know. Roblox always just gave me weird vibes because it's like,
it always felt like you were going to get a virus, and then it's actually pretty secure, apparently.
Yeah, well, there's so many children on it, but there's also a lot of adults on it. So it's like a weird mixture of people, and it's not like, we've been playing Palia, and I feel like there's adults and kids on there, but they have like pretty strict guidelines. The chat's very like different. Roblox has gotten a lot of...
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen... There's a guy on YouTube who used to be like a hacker for a bunch of different people, and he does a lot of testing and like cybersecurity things and whatnot. And he does a lot of like exposures, and he helps the government with a lot with shutting down like websites of like human trafficking or like child sex things and whatever it is, right? But he was saying, one of his videos popped up and was like, hey, just so you're tracking like parents out there, it was like, this is what happens on Roblox. He goes, I went on Roblox. I was there for 2 hours. I went into some like sketchy rooms that said they were for 18 plus, or for like 18 plus. And they were like, advertised that I was a kid, and several people messaged me. He's like, I followed them through some websites and that went through their IP. I found out they're tied to a lot of like dark websites that they're illegal. And he goes, I reported them, but just so you know, keep track of which games your kids are playing on Netflix.
Well, it's
on Roblox, not Netflix.
Kids lie. Like when I was a kid, I did some shady shit on the internet with adults. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was on the in.com. I said that I was 16. I was like 9. I was like 9 fucking years old on this website. Okay.
Your parents were all over it.
No, they literally let us have unfettered access to the internet, and then they had parental controls, right? I guessed the password because my father made it my mother's name.
Nailed it.
When I told him I figured that out, he quickly changed it.
Why would you tell it?
Because I was a kid. I was dumb.
Oh my gosh.
But
you were like, I'm going to brag about this crime.
So Roblox is changing its child safety policies because a report came out calling Roblox an X-rated pedophile hellscape that exposes children to grooming, pornography, violent content, and extremely abusive speech. Roblox did respond and said that the Hindenburg research report was misleading and insisted that it contained glaring mischaracterizations. But despite that, they are still making numerous changes to its child safety policy. And I will say, kids today are way smarter. Like they've grown up with technology. They know how it works. Like it's all they know. So like they know how to get around different things. They don't give a shit. Like, it's up to adults to protect these children. And like you said, parents really should be monitoring what their kids are doing on the internet, because they're in adult spaces, and adults are not, strange adults on the internet are not going to protect your children.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Yeah, you should definitely be safe on the internet. Keep track of what you're doing. Don't walk around. Anyway.
But yeah, child exploitation is bad. So we'll see. The vibe of Roblox is very off-putting to me. So I haven't really done much with it.
We'll find some good news later.
Oh, I thought you said you had good news. I have some good news. So a few months ago, they created something that will allow a robot to get a face of living skin that allows it to smile. Let me just show you the GIF of the technology.
I think I've seen something similar.
It reminds me of a blobfish.
I haven't seen that one.
Reminds me of a blobfish. It's
that's amazing.
It's a new technology using engineered living skin tissue and human-like ligaments to give robots a more natural smile. And it's from the Tokyo University research team. They said, in this study, we managed to replicate human appearance to some extent by creating a face with the same surface material and structure as humans. This might be an unpopular opinion. I don't want robots to look like humans. Like, make them look like robots. I don't know. Maybe I've watched too much like Terminator and movies like that, but I'm just like, why do we want them to look like us?
Their ability to blend in, that's what means we can't fight back. All right. I've seen Transformers. There's nobody that's walking down the street and thinking that soda machine that is shooting people with soda is a human.
Yeah. You know, like,
there's no question.
I mean, I guess it's to make it more friendly and approachable to people, but like, I just find something very uncanny valley about that.
If you're afraid of metal, that sucks for you. I still haven't played, was it Detroit Become Human? I need to. It looks good.
Shit. Do we have it?
I believe we do.
Okay, because I started it, but I never finished it. And I'm told it's a really good game. And that game has so many different paths you can take. It'll show you like unlocked things, and then you can go back and like replay it.
Yeah.
That game was way ahead of its time when it came out.
All right. But that's going to do it for us this week. We are Mindless. That one's Prattle. And we appreciate you listening in. If you like what you heard, or you think it sounds better, worse, in between, or you just didn't notice a difference because your ears are bad, go to the doctor or just write a note on mindlessprattle.com where you can get all of our content. You can see all the platforms we're on. There's like a dozen. I don't have time to list them all because
literally wherever you get your platform, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, and don't forget your platform shoes either. That's going to do it for this week. We hope you have fun, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.